Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Let's Play Grimoire. I've made a new party because I found out some things I want to share with you, so you make your own characters better, your own parties better. First and foremost, I want to inform you about how the system itself works. You've seen I have taken 4 dragons and 4 Heralds. Why did I do that? Because I want to show you something about the races and their bonuses and the classes and their bonuses. First and foremost, why take a Drake? Well, because for one, a Drake has a natural weapon. In the beginning you start with an axe if you take a Berserker, or a sword if you stick with a warrior, and they do 1d4 damage. Great. A Drake has a natural weapon, so if you disequip the weapon and you let him fight with his bare claw, he does 3d4 damage. And that could be augmented or buffed by, for example, Iron Hand or Berserk or Lethal Blow, which a Berserker have. So keep in mind that some races have a natural ability to attack with their hands or with their bite, for example. And for warriors or berserkers, that is quite important in the beginning because you can do a lot more damage. Furthermore, hit points and magic points are random with the character creation. So for example, if you create a sage with 1 hit point or a sage with 4 magic points, then simply forget about what you rolled, discard that character. It's no use. You should at least have 6 hit points with a sage, for example, and at least 15 to 18 magic points. The more the better. Same goes for the warriors. You can create a warrior, and that is totally random. That is not influenced by the stats you have in the beginning. You can have a warrior with 11 life points. I mean, that's not working, obviously. Why else do I take Drake Berserkers and, for example, not Drake Warriors? Because a warrior has a very limited skill set. Each character has a skill set. The sages, for example, have one of the widest varieties of skills. Why is that important? Because the sages, for example, can use magic instruments, which are extremely powerful in the game. They can cast all kinds of spells. They can identify monsters, items, plants, whatever you like. They can lockpick. They can do all the stuff that all the others can, all the other classes can. They might not do it as well, but they do it well enough. Why a Berserker, not a Warrior? Because a Warrior can only learn, or primarily learn combat spells. Yes, he can get swords 100, axes 100, staffs 100, maces 100. But what is that for a use? Because he can only use 1 weapon. The Berserker, on the other hand, he can learn Berserking, he can learn Lethal Blow, and he can learn, for example, swords. So then he is fighting with swords, but his sword skill is upgraded by 2 other skills, while the Warrior only has his sword skill and nothing to upgrade that, or to improve his attacks. So that's the reason I take a Berserker before a Warrior. Another reason to take a Drake, for example, is the natural armor class. The dragon has the highest natural armor class of 22, and he gets an attack bonus of 22 as well. While, for example, the Aeop gets no natural armor class and no natural attack bonus. I think it's 5 or 0. It's very low anyway. So keep that in mind as well. As you can see, there is another point that distributes the Drakes from the other characters, or differs from the other characters. The Destiny, that's the little ability down here. The Destiny is actually your saving throw. If you're playing Warhammer, that's your saving throw. In the old Warhammer Fantasy. I know that is no longer active, but you get my point. Whenever you're killed, it's rolled for Destiny. And if you roll under your Destiny, you live. No matter the damage. So that is extremely powerful, because whatever happens, that thing can save you. So that's another reason for Drakes. Drakes, and I think the others are the Durandil, have a Destiny of 20 to start with. And I would really advise you to get that Destiny as high as humanly possible, because that is what keeps your warrior alive. Hit points? Yeah, but Destiny always is a good bet to take on. Besides, you're always rolling your characters more often in the beginning and take the right one which hath a good starting hit point number. Now there is another thing you should absolutely be aware of, and that is if you create a character, for example you create a Drake, or no, let's do an Aeop, and you roll, then you should keep in mind that if you roll high enough you will have points to distribute for hit points, for ability points, skill points, or destiny. Why is that? Well, because your race has starting numbers here. And then you use the points you roll to fill up the requirements for the class. And if there are points left, you get these points to distribute about kit points, ability points, skill points, or destiny if that number of leftover points is greater than 15. If it's below that point, the points are just lost. That is the reason, for example, a Drake Berserker, if you want to make a Drake Berserker and have points left to put into destiny, has to roll 28 or higher. Because if you roll below that, the number of points that are left over after filling the Berserker requirements is less than 15, and therefore the points are lost. So Berserkers, we're taking Drakes as warriors because of their natural weapons. You do 3d4 instead of 1d4 with your axe. You can augment that with hand-to-hand combat, lethal blow, iron fist, and berserk, which is pretty nice. They have a good natural armor class, the best. They have a good natural attack bonus, which is the best, and they have a high destiny. And they can breathe fire if you run out. I know breathe fire isn't that powerful, but if you run out of everything else, you can just breathe fire. So not that bad. Why for sages? Well, because they can learn almost every skill. They can learn almost all the spells, so they can cure, they can charm, they can detect secret, they can do damage with still sound or psionic blast, and they have an AOP has a born ability to dazzle the enemy in combat, to mind trick them, and they can play instruments, which is absolutely amazing. And that is another point about character creation you should be aware of. If you pick the right class for the race, you're getting bonus skill points every time you level up. What does that mean? For example, you make a human sage and you may get a level up of 14 skill points. That is good. But if you have taken an AOP sage, you would get double the skill points because the sage gets you 2 times the skill points with each, the AOP gets you 2 times the skill points for each sage class they get. The Berserker Drake, for example, gets 1.1 skill points, so 10% more skill points than a human, for example, would get with a Berserker. I'm not sure the human gets a bonus. I think human don't get bonuses on any class. But if a Drake, for example, would become a Sage, he would only gain 80% of the skill points. You can look the numbers up in the internet, but that is really important about your character creation, and that is the reason I take an AOP Sage. Although the AOPs has the lowest number of attribute points if you combine them. For example, if you combine all the starting points of the Drake race together, you get about 410 points. If you count all the attribute points of the AOP together, you get about 350. So there are a lot less effective when it comes to ability points in total. But as they get double the skill points when they take a Sage, they are the right choice. Of course you can say, oh, I take the Dundrill because the Dundrill gets also 20 destiny points, so their saving throw is 10% better than that of the AOP, and his total number of ability points is 60 or 70 points higher than that of the AOP. Why not take a Durinil? Because the Durinil in the level up gets only, for example, 14 points of skills to distribute, where the AOP will get 28 with the same role. So, and I think that although you have worse ability stats in the beginning, the number of skill points you accumulate over the levels, you always getting twice the skill points, will be more useful than the starting bonuses of the attributes. And by the way, yes, they have more constitution, strength, speed, or agility, but actually these are sages. They have 2 orders in combat: cast spells and play instruments, so forget about the rest. That's okay. So, with that being said, if there are any questions to the character creation, just let me know and I will try to answer them as best as I can. We'll now journey onward, and you might ask yourself, why am I starting in a sanctuary? Each starting point, which can be found or changed if you go to your game journal and configuration and go for starting. Here you can change that. The sanctuary gives you a bonus in form of certain items that you can only find here, and 1000 extra experience points from the training facility that is down here. Let's just look around here. As you can see, they're bones, and they tell you the password for this underground installation, because it's actually some kind of sci-fi installation here. It's like wizardry or might and magic, where this is an artificial world and everything around it is built, and there's some aliens orchestrating the entire thing, more or less. So there is a treasure chest that we can open, and here we'll find the starting items, some scrolls, and an energy weapon. That is actually like a gold hand energy blaster thingy. Quite good. So if we go here and we activate that, the password is what we found with the corpse, Abend, which actually means evening in German. And they inform you that this installation is actually one of the bad guys, because we get the order to kill the White Owl, which is one of the good guys. But with that being said, let's journey onward and go directly for the level up. But before we do that, we can do something else I wanted to show you. As you've seen, I've taken the bonus points and I put them into Destiny. Why into Destiny? Because the Destiny is our saving throw. We have already with our Drakes 1 in 3 chance to survive any attack that would normally kill us, just because of the Destiny. And if that isn't great, I don't know. I find that extremely amazing. Furthermore, of course, we will disequip the weapons, because this thing here, if you don't know how to look at the items, that is by doing this. You see, axe 1d4. And if we go for combat now, we cannot do that because we are not in combat. This claw does actually 3d4, so that's a lot better. And we can sell the axes. We will keep the shields. Shields are, by the way, extremely valuable. They are worth a lot of money normally. Nobody knows why. I'm not sure if they're that effective. No points to distribute here. No points to distribute here. A little bit in war with my mouse here. And now we come to the Alps. I've given them the order to put their bonuses into the skill points that we can distribute. But before we do that, we look who has the highest number of lockpicking, because that will be our lockpick. We have 16 here, so just Daniela will be, I think, the one that does the lockpicking. Yes, she will. So we activate her, and we give her all the bonuses in lockpicking. And yes, we could go for all this interrogation, evocation, metaphysics, mythology, but we don't want to know about the enemy. We want to kill him firsthand. So we're putting all our points into sorcery, so that we're able to not fumble as much when it comes to spellcasting, which I think is pretty important. We'd go for staff and rod, and we should actually... Where is his inspection? We have no one who has inspection right now, so Phoebe will be our inspector for mechanical devices. She has lockpicking, evasion, climbing, scout, music, stealth, swimming, throwing. I think you will be the scout. Gesine will be the scout, which is good for us, because scouting... Yes, we have the secret, but it's never bad to have someone with scouting. Most of the, like, identifying and all that can be augmented with your spells. So, you go for this. We have lockpicking, swimming, throwing, scout, music, evasion, climbing, hand-to-hand inspection. You actually don't need anything, which there is no reason to double skills, so I will train you in swimming. Everyone should learn swimming, by the way, because that you can train. If you have a skill, you can use him, and then you can train him by using him. If you don't have the spell, you can train him because you're not using it. So with that being said, let's go here. This will give us some maps, which is useful. And I would advise you to save before you level up, because level up is random. It's like creating the character. You can end up with plus 10 or 20 spell points, and you can end up with 6 spell points. So that's a bit of evil in my eyes. But no, that's the life. So 17 points here. That's okay. We're getting bonus points to distribute, not the ones we need, because why need intelligence? And only 2 points here, but that's okay with us. We get skills here, a lot of skill points here to distribute, which is nice. But we're not paying anything from them now. We're not taking them because I have an idea. Not so many life points here, sadly. But 38 is enough to deal with the enemy in the beginning, I hope. And we get 4 points, which puts that to 38. How many? 18. Yeah, you see the difference here. It's random. It's totally random. 37, not as much as I hoped. 1 fellowship, 1 constitution, 3 strength, and 5 bonus points, so at least that is good. 31 skill points is quite okay, although it does not make up for the lack in hit points. I was hoping for a lot more, actually, but what can you do? Only 2 points, oh boy. And only 7 points to distribute here. That is harsh. That is harsh. There is no other way to say that. Only 12 magic points. That again is pretty low. We're getting 6 points to distribute, and we'll put them into devotion, because devotion is our magic ability, how much magic points we get. We get 20 points to distribute. Of course, we're putting all of them into sorcery. Sorcery is important. And she is our scout. We can see that by the 1 point. And you see we don't get that many points. And she is an AOP, so normally we would get even less. We need attack spells, so we take Shrill Sound, because that is a quite good attack spell, especially against bats, for example. And we take... No. We should concentrate on healing. Everyone should be able to heal. And as we're taking AOPs, we will be able to heal with 4 of our spellcasters. Isn't that great? And then we just got 22 spell points on top. That is wonderful. So, let's see how many skill points we got. A lot, but not as many as I was hoping. But we're getting good at sorcery. Inspection. And we take Shrill Sound. And Cure Light Wounds. Hit points are okay. Vitality I don't... Oh! 8 spell points. You're kidding me. Oh, is that evil? Oh, that hurts. That was... Oh, that was not nice. That was evil. Even by my standards was that evil. That hurt. Well, there is no saving and loading in this game, but you get my point. If you were playing this, or if you're playing that yourself, save before you level up and then do the leveling up. And if the outcome is not to your liking, do not take it. 1 hit point, would you believe that? And only 9 magic points. Terrible as well. Well, we have 4 points here. Let's hope that we at least get some bonus points here. No, we don't. So, I'm putting the points here. I think I'm needed by my son, so I will stop the recording here.
Papa,
as you can hear, my son wants me to stop. So that is a good point to stop as any. Next time, we'll do some extra training, and I'll hope you like it. I hope you like the new idea, and I hope you like to see how the dragons are actually faring in close combat. I thank you for watching. I hope you will watch the next episode as well. See you then. Bye.